Rob, all right, take it away.
All right, so I am Rob Birt, Robert Graphic Design and Illustration. I specialize in illustration, but one of the things that I illustrate are patents, and I'm going to talk about those today. But we're going to take a nice little light side of that. We're going to go into a little cute thing here. But before we go on any further, I want to get some stuff out of the way. One is my disclaimer. I am not a lawyer or an attorney. Any information here is in reference to my business experience. If you are looking for legal advice, please consult an attorney or a lawyer. Yeah, very important to do.
Is that you?
That is not. That would be the Lady of Justice. Yeah.
And did you do all these drawings?
I did do all these drawings. So, know who you're talking to. One of the fortunate things that I had the chance to actually get out of this group was I got to meet a patent agent. All right. Now, a patent agent is not someone who actually has a legal degree. They end up having a science degree, a bachelor's of science, possibly a master's, even a PhD, and then they've actually gotten into the corporate world and have had some formal training on how to actually write up patents. Those guys cannot get you into court though. You got the guy, the lawyer on the other side there. Great for getting you into court, but chances are they're not going to know anything about being able to represent you in the intellectual property world, which is where patents reside. And last of all is the patent attorney. Now this guy generally has a bachelor's degree at least and a law degree. So that means that they probably have gone to school for about 12 years. So you're looking at probably someone who's going to be a little bit in the older range. That does not mean that they have actually gotten into court though. And that's why you'll actually have patent attorneys often will team up with an attorney, a litigation attorney, that will actually help them work out the case in court. Okay? Now, inventors think that they're great, that their idea is the next thing since sliced bread. But believe it or not, humanity will continue on without your invention. Mankind did just fine before the wheel was created, and mankind was just fine after it. One of the big issues though, or not issues, I will say that an idea is great, but getting it to market is a completely different thing. And for anybody who's actually done that type of thing, knows exactly what I'm talking about. The idea is great, but there's so much more involved, and money that goes into actually getting that done, that you're not going to get the previous guys, any of the previous guys, to be able to tell you whether you're actually going to be a success, or even me, the patent illustrator. All right. Now, what will a patent do? A patent will not stop anyone from infringing on you or making your invention. It will not stop you from getting sued. It will, however, allow you to potentially make deals for licensing and or go to court. Now, why is that important? Because it doesn't just give you a gift to say, oh, I'm going to be able to make this and make tons of money, and nobody's going to be able to stop me or whatever. It really only gets you to go into court and actually have a case, or be able to talk to the other people and actually have a discussion about it. Okay? That leads us into the United States Patent and Trademark Office, more commonly known as the USPTO. This is the governing body for filing and granting patents. This is not your court. This is just the guys who say whether you can have this patent or not, or whether it's met up to the codes and specifications that are necessary. Right? They want you to invent. It's good for the government, it's good for business, And they've even made it cheaper this past year by inventing a new entity class that's called a microentity. That it used to be only large, small, and now you can even have just the one person who's making less than $100,000 a year, and it's made it really cheap to actually have a patent. First type of patent that's out there is the plant patent. All right, this is actually like roses and flowers and stuff like that. Second one is a design patent. All right, this is based on how something looks. Third is the utility patent, and this is based on function, systems, and methodologies. All right, and underneath that is basically a provisional patent, and that's basically a temporary patent. All right, and we'll go into this a little bit deeper. Plant patents can be are basically about plants that can be duplicated through asexual reproduction, but which cannot otherwise be made or manufactured, can be discovered, but only in a cultivated environment. That means that you have to actually have it in a greenhouse or something like that. Drawings focusing on the plant, drawings focus on the plant features, and varieties that are do seeds and tubers, those are actually covered by a completely separate division of the government. This is a sample of a plant patent. Now if you go through here, it's actually it describes the plant and what color it is, but the next screen is what I want to show you. Not all patents are done via drawings. You can actually do it via a photograph. One of the problems with the photograph is that they're doing these in black and white, whether you've taken the picture in color or not. And guess what? It also gets scanned through a nice little dot matrix printer. What happens to the quality when that actually goes down? And that means that you're going to end up losing a lot of the detail that you might actually have done in what's in a line drawing, which is what I end up doing. On to design patents. Design patents are primarily about how something looks on the outside. That means that I don't care about the functionality. You can't show how this moves this way or whether air goes through here or whatever. You only care about how it looks. Generally, you can receive a design patent in about 6 months. These are some of the fastest turnaround things that they've done. Usually it took probably about a year or two. Once you pay for the patent to actually get printed, after you filed it, because there's steps where you file, you get it approved, and then you actually have to pay for it to get published. After you pay for it to get published, you don't have to pay for it ever again. You just have it for the next 20 years. Okay? This is an example of a design patent that I did. This is for a guy, love this guy, a guy by the name of David Rand. He came up with a patent for a key design that's in the shape of a guitar. Now, in a design patent, there are basically 7 views that you have to have. You have to have an isometric for perspective, top, bottom, and each of the other side, just like on a cube. All right. So you want us to have each side of the items shown, and at least one perspective. Now, if you actually have depths that may not be shown in the opposing perspective, you would actually have to have another perspective that would show the underside. One of the ways that you can actually reduce the amount of is whether you could actually have a reversed or a duplicated side. That would actually reduce the amount of images that you would actually have in the patent. On to utility patents. Like I said, utility patents are methods, systems, and functions. They are not directly representing what is important via how it looks, unless it actually provides a function in the patent, or a function in the system. These will take about 2 to 3 years from the date of filing, unless you actually spend a little money. And we'll have ongoing fees during the life of the patent. We'll speed this up. This is an example of one of those. One of the reasons why I did this, it's a therapeutic smoking device. And
Is that what you call it?
therapeutic smoking device, all right?
Wow.
It is a therapeutic smoking device. And this is one of the reasons I brought this up here because for several reasons. One, if you can see here, this is where I actually list out some of the details. But this is one of the ones that actually represent old artwork in the patent that you can also use, which are more than free to use. They like that in the whole legal world where you actually duplicate stuff over and over and over again. This is an exploded view. This is an internal view of the item, which is not shown in a design patent.
And do you use the items before you, no, of course not.
After all, it's Boulder. It's Colorado, I should say.
What is that in the?
One of the reasons why I also brought that dimension up was because they also did a design patent for this. Okay, you can get a separate utility and design patent based on the same item. Now, one of the other things that, if you notice, there's a nice little space missing there. That was actually the USPTO made a mistake. But again, here's my 6 different sides. Okay, this was actually a duplicated side. This gets reversed.
And you drew this one?
I drew this one,
Drew
yes.
this one.
Is that a vaporizer?
It's a therapeutic smoking device. It is actually used down at St. Jude's
Yeah.
for cancer patients. On to provisional patents. Like I said, temporary patents, they only last 1 year from the time of filing. Up to 1 year, they are eligible for an upgrade. If you don't upgrade that patent, it goes out to the public, regardless of whether you upgrade or not. That means it can never be patented ever again, unless something has been improved upon. One of the reasons why you end up doing the provisional patent is because it's cheap. You can basically test the market and see if it's actually going to sell for you. So, questions and answers?
So we have just a couple minutes for questions, so any questions for Rob? Jim?
In the functional patents, you said that there are ongoing fees. Is that because of the provisional nature of the function?
No, they basically want to make sure that you're still actively maintaining the patent. And there are costs involved in doing that, basically. And the USPTO, basically, in all honesty, they want their chunk of the change of what is going on. Because when you're actually doing a utility patent, those are the ones that chances are going to be the most expensive and the most elaborate. So if you're actually spending that amount of money, they're wanting to check basically every 4 years and make sure that you're actively participating in getting that out in the community and are actually using it. And if you're not, then it basically goes away.
Okay.
Any other questions?
So you have, I'm sorry, just follow on that. So you have to refile every 4 years?
No, you end up paying a maintenance fee.
A maintenance fee, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for Rob? So I guess my question would be, where do you find most of your patent business?
I find it via the patent attorney.
Patent attorney.
Since like I said, I met the patent agent here, and she's actually made my life extraordinarily easy. But she's actually helping the patent attorney that I actually ended up working with. So.
These drawings that you showed, those are done by computer, aren't they? Or is that?
I do. I mean, one of the grounds that I have is that all of my education was actually done before people were using computers generally. So I've got a drafting and mechanical engineering background to a certain degree, even though I don't have that as a degree. I have the training that actually leads up into it.
But did you do these on the computer or?
Yes.
The illustration, you're talking about the patent drawings or
I'm
the?
talking about the
The
pattern
character.
drawings.
But you did it by hand you drew on your computer, right? Or,
Yes.
yes, all right.
Oh, like they did with you.
Yeah, like you did my caricature. in the
Well,
last presentation.
okay, so we can go back. Go back here. Okay.
That, like that.
Okay, so this is, I can actually draft this out point to point, put my curves in, skip it off. I know the formulas to basically create this using these drawings. And we're actually bringing this out so that it actually forms the right curvatures and et cetera. So,
All right, we're gonna actually have to, we can do one more. But we're
Just
gonna
real
wrap it up.
quickly, which do you prefer doing? The logos for companies, illustrations, say for a book, like your cartoon things, or these patent drawings?
all of it, in all honesty, all of it is exciting to me. There's pluses and minuses to both. But it's just the fact that I'm even doing it and actually getting paid to do it and having a good time doing it is fantastic.
Yeah.
Great. All right, well, Rob,
Thanks,
thanks
Rob.
very much.